Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today we are going to be making a statement necklace using this beautiful stone. I found this and I thought it was so beautiful that I just had to purchase it, and I really wanted to use it on a main piece. So the first thing I am going to do is roll my clay out to the thickest setting, and that's about the thickness that I have it. And I have my cutter here, so I am just going to take my cutter and press it right out. I just really wanted this to be a nice special piece using this particular stone. So I am actually going to put this right onto a mat that I could put right in the oven. So I'm going to work right on this, and then after I'm done creating my piece, I'll put it right in the oven, and I know that I won't stretch it or pull it or make it funny shaped. So just lay it out the way that I want to work on it. And then I'm going to lay my stone out, and I want it to go down. So let me make sure that it's nice and even. I have to stand up for this so I can really see. I want to make sure that that is going to be exactly where I want it. And then because I am only going to put a small thing around this, I am actually going to put clay adhesive on here. Now see, I have a mark where my stone went. So I know exactly where I need my adhesive to be. So I'll just spread that. And that'll help make sure that my stone is securely on here. If I was wrapping this up completely, I wouldn't worry too much about the clay adhesive, but I am not going to wrap this up completely. So that just gives me a little bit of extra security. My next step is to take my clay here, and now I am going to start making some noodles and making some branches. So I want to make sure my clay is nice and soft. And I just kind of roll it in my hands initially just to warm it up and get it real pliable. And then I don't need that much right away. So I want to make a bunch of branches. So I want to make trees that kind of wrap around and really design this so we have a beautiful tree, or we have beautiful tree branches all around this entire piece. This just reminded me so much of Mother Earth, and I thought, what is the one thing that I love the most? And that's trees. I absolutely love all the different trees, and I love to incorporate them in different things. So I am going to incorporate them into this jewelry piece. So at this point, just make a bunch of different sizes. So now I love all my tree branches to have a nice point on them. And this particular one, I want to wrap around here. So wrap it around your stone, and that'll help keep your stone right into place as well. And then I'm going to carefully figure out how I want to loop this up and around. Now I'm going to press it down, but not mush it. I just want to press it nicely. And then I will cut this off right at the edge. Oops. And then I'll take a little one here. And I want to kind of figure out how I want this one. maybe I'll do it over here first. I'm going to try to keep my hand out of the way here to show you guys. So I actually want to take this piece, I'm going to make this a branch, and then I am going to pull that. And then you're definitely going to want one of these silicone tools, and then you will just kind of press it into place and blend them together to make one piece. So it looks like that tiny branch is definitely attached to the big branch. And then you could point it any direction you want. Come on, get out of the way. And then I will slowly start adding little branches. And as long as you have a nice point, it'll look like the end of a tree. And that's really what, if you look at a real tree, the bottom or the very edge of them, the tips, are always pointy. In this particular necklace, I want a lot of detail. So I'm going to add a lot of these little tiny pieces here. And you'll see, I'm going to take that and I'm going to blend that right with my other one. If you get one that kind of feels like a little crumbly in your hand, get rid of that, because that means the inside of the clay is breaking and it's just not going to work well. And just make sure you're pushing down, that you're securely putting these on your piece. Now I'm going to move some of my branches to kind of give them a little turn. I want them to look a little bit more natural, because not all branches are like straight out. Some of them are kind of twist and turn and look really, really cool. So I am going to add some onto my stone here, and the ones I add onto my stone, I want to be very thin. So I'm going to roll my clay slowly to stretch it, and it'll give me a nice thin branch. And then I'll just cut it off. And then I'll add it to the bottom of this branch. Make sure it's securely on there. And you just keep rubbing it until it becomes one. You can see how beautiful and thin that is. So it just is going to look so nice on there. So if you're following along with me, just take your time rolling your noodles out to give you that nice thin branch. If you do it too fast, they break off and then you don't get that really nice smooth look. And this is going to be a really tiny one here. And we will add this right up here. And then carefully just press that right down into place. I'm going to put my fingernail there to support the other one as I rub them together. And then from that, I could kind of spread them apart and put them how I want them. And this particular part will take you a little bit longer because this is where you really want all your detail, because that is going to be the main part that people will look at right away. They're going to look right at that middle section, right where the stone is. If your finger is too big, like mine is right in between here, I'm going to take this tool. I will hold that into place, and then I will gently just blend that together. I'm going to do this one again. Having these little tools, it's such a save, and it just saves you so much time, because if I had to get my finger in there, that would be so hard. So I am so grateful I have all these little tiny tools, and these are just, this is a dentist tool. So just go to your dollar store or Amazon or something like that and just look for little dentist tools, and they're not overly expensive. Okay. I'm just going to make sure my tree branch is nice and against my stone here. Now I'm going to take this tool and I'm going to start making marks into my branch here to give it detail. And all I'm doing is making lines like you would in wood for wood grain. And I'm not going too deep. I'll show you how. I hope you can see that. You can see how I'm putting the little marks into the tree. And follow the way your branch is going. And on here, I'm going to put very, very lightly. I don't want to do too much because these branches are very thin and I don't want to break them. So I'm just going to just kind of scratch them up a bit. Okay. I'm going to do my next big one, but I will add more to this. I just want to get my big one started here. And I'm going to take my tip and make it thinner. And I'm just going to roll it out because it does not need to be overly big. And then I want this one to be wrapped around this way. And then do the same style. Now I'm just going to lay these all down, and then once I figure out where I want them all, then I'll just blend them all together. And that way, it'll go a little bit faster for me. All right, I think that's nice and full there. The only thing I will have left then is the stone area. And I think I will do one more right there. Okay, so now the trick is to add everything, like blend it all. Make sure everything is secure together. Press that down. I want to make sure I'm pressing everything down so I know it's all securely on there. Because if you don't secure it, it will fall off. Plus putting these little marks in it, doing the little branch marks, that helps kind of push it all down onto the other clay. So that is another way to make sure that your stuff is on there. And don't worry if your piece seems a little messy initially. That's okay, because it will look better once you start putting everything together and putting all the detail on there. Because trees to me always look messy at first. And then as you start adding all your stuff and all the detail in there, it all blends so nice. Okay, so now I want to carefully do this. I'm going to do all the little branches last on the top there. Remember, go with the flow of your branch. I'm going to give this one a little tilt as well. I don't like my branches being straight. I like them having some curve to them. I think it looks so much nicer. Look how gorgeous that looks so far. That is going to be beautiful. All right, so now it's going to be putting all my little pieces on. So I want to, once again, just make little tiny branches. And I don't want too many on there because I really want that stone to be my centerpiece. But I definitely want to add my branches because I think putting the branches on the stone is really gonna bring this whole thing to life. At this point, I am actually going to start blending these together because they are so small. I feel like I need to blend them before I add too much to them. And I think I'm going to do one more right here. I just love how this is turning out. It looks so nice. And we're going to do a little bit bigger one. I want a nice point on that. All right, so the last thing I want to do with this top part is I just want to put the tiniest amount of liquid clay on there. All right, so I have liquid polymer clay, and I am just going to take, honestly, the tiniest amount. And I'm going to put, and actually I'm going to get my rubber tool here. Take my rubber tool. This is another dentist tool. And I am just going to take this and put right around the edge just to kind of make sure those little tiny branches are stuck on that area. And I'm not putting a lot. You can see I'm just really honestly doing the tiniest bit. But I want to make sure that these pieces are not going to come off, because sometimes when you're putting clay on stones like this, they don't hold on very well. They will fall off because it doesn't have anything to stick to. So I'm just putting a little bit of liquid clay there just to kind of give it that little extra bond. Really trying to do this so you can see this. So I'm kind of sticking the liquid clay right underneath. And I don't want it necessarily on my stone. But more like right on the edge of the clay. And then I'm going to clean it up. And we can clean up the stone afterwards. So you see how I have that just on the edge? So I'm happy with that. We got that all nice and done. Okay, so all the hard stuff is done. Now we're going to use our mica powders. These are the two that I have. I have the red and the black, and then I also have gold. This particular red is more like a mauve-y red. It almost matches, for what I can see, this, but slightly different. So I'm hoping that it's a close enough color. If not, I'm going to grab a different one. So I'm going to do a small patch job first and make sure it's going to be a color that I really like. And I am going to start out with my gold first because those are going to be my branches. So I'm going to use a smaller brush, and then I'm just going to kind of dust it off and go right over my branches here. And I'm not going to go crazy with it because I still want some of that black to show. So I'm going to go over it lightly. Oh, see? Don't move. Got to be very careful around these tiny branches. When we get to, I'm going to let that kind of soak in a bit before I touch the tiny branches. But when we get around those, we want to dab. We do not want to brush back and forth because then we're going to have to worry about moving them because now they're only on the stone. So they're not on clay like this. This is securely on here. But with the stone, it will move around real easy. So we have to be very, very careful around that. So now I'm going to do the branches up here, and I am just going to dab. And I'm doing it very softly. Okay, so my gold is done. Our next step is to do our mauve or red. And I want to do a small bit because I want to make sure that this is the color that I want. And yes, okay, I like that. So now I'm going to kind of do black and mauve together. I'm going to kind of blend these if I can. And I want to kind of go really over the gold area that I got onto the necklace piece because I don't want gold on my necklace piece. I just want the gold on the branches. And if I get any on my branches, I'm just going to go right back over with the gold. And be careful when you're doing this that you're not lifting your branches up. You don't want to ruin your branches. And you can see I'm leaving areas open because that's where I'm going to put my black. Okay, now I'm going to get a smaller one. Okay, so I have a thinner one. This one is super soft, and that's what I want to make sure that I'm not going to get any roughness around my branches. So now I'm just going to go over with my black certain areas, kind of shadow different things. Here I'm going to put a little bit of liquid clay because any branches that I feel are loose, I am definitely going to put liquid clay because I don't want them getting ruined and getting loose after it's baked. We want to make sure everything is nice and tight. So try to cover up that gold. If you have gold showing, a little bit too much on my trees, I'm going to go over that. Now I have a bigger brush, and this is soft, and I'm just going to go very gently over my whole piece and blend those, getting the extra off. If I want to add more red, I'm going to add more red now. Because I don't want too much black, but all right, let me get my and this little branch right here just keeps coming loose. So I'm going to just put some liquid clay right around that and put him right on top of that, just to make sure he's on there nice. And check all my little branches on this side. Those are all good. And now I'll work on this. All right, I'm going to add a little bit more of my gold, but I'm going to do my, what do you call that? My metallic gold paste. I'm going to actually use my rub-on. This way, I know I am not going to get any more on my necklace. At least I hope I don't. I just want to go right over certain areas that I got a lot of black on. Okay, so look over your piece real careful. Make sure it's blended the way that you want it to be blended. I got a little bit of metallic rub on there, so I'm just rubbing that right off with my brush. Right here, I think it's a little loose, so I'm going to put some glue there. And I'm going to rub right up against my pieces to see what is kind of moving. And if it's moving, it's getting the liquid clay right next to it. Okay, so I'm very happy with that. I'm not going to mess around with the top because the top is already dusted. I don't want to touch it. So now I'm going to put this in the oven, 275 for a half hour, and then we will come back. All right, guys, my piece is out of the oven. Look how beautiful that came out. I am super happy with that. So my next step was I just ended up doing a real quick sand around the edges. And then I cleaned up my stone here. And all I did to clean up my stone is I took my tool here and I take away all that extra that's on there. And if you have a strong stone, you don't have to worry about scratching it. If you have a stone that scratches easy, don't use metal on it, okay? My next step is to take my black clay. This time I rolled it out to my third thickest setting. So it went down 2 more notches. I'm going to take my aquarium filter and then I am just going to go over this and texture it. And I want to get a nice texture on this. And I'll take my cutter again, cut my piece out. Now I want, this is my oven baked clay adhesive. So So now I'm going to go over the back of this. I want to put a nice back on here. So I'm just going to go over this real nice, make sure my piece is covered in this glue. And then carefully line your piece up. Got hair on here. I'm going to carefully go around my piece. Make sure it's bonded well. I always like to go around all my edges and then smooth them out as I go. Okay, so I like the way that looks. I'm going to take my sponge one more time and just kind of go over it nicely. You want to make sure no air pockets are in here. You don't want no air underneath your piece, because when you bake it, it will bubble up. So just go over it a few times just to make sure no air is stuck under there. I'm not seeing any air, so I'm happy with that. Now I do want to decorate the back just slightly. I'm not going to go crazy with it, but I am going to put a little branch on there. I did that with one of my other pieces, and I thought it came out so beautiful that I thought I would do the same thing on this one. I am leaving my back completely black, so I will paint this with I'm either going to use my metallic rub-on, or I am going to paint it after it's completely baked. Either way, I just don't want to get any of the mica powder on my piece here, because I want to keep that a solid black. I did take notice that the ones that I really deck out the back and the front, they seem to sell either a lot faster, or people are always picking them up and really eyeing them up when I wear them. They're just a real hit. So if you're one that wants to sell something, or you like to wear things that get a lot of attention because you want this to be a statement piece, decorate the back of your pieces, because they will get more attention than if you don't. Because that's something that you could show people that are looking to buy something special, or you have the opportunity, and somebody says, oh my goodness, look how beautiful that is. You can say, oh, wait till you see the back of it, and then show them that, and then that'll be a whole nother wow factor. And I may end up just sticking a nice black stone right in the middle, but I'm not sure. I want to see what it looks like first. I think that might look really nice. All I'm doing is adding a little bit black to kind of help fill in that big space, because I want a space here, but I don't want one that big. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to do my black stone, or do I want to put a moon right in there? Because I think a moon would look really cool. I'm thinking a moon would look really neat there. And then maybe 2 stars up here or something. Maybe 2 stars here. I think that's what I'm going to do. So let me put my moon there, exactly where I want it. I'm going to press that down. And then I think I'll take and just add a couple little stars. Okay, I think that's going to work out nice. I love just putting a little extra of something on each one of my pieces. So now I decided I am going to use my rub-on, and I'm not going to use my finger. I'm actually going to use a paintbrush, because this way I know I have a little bit more control and I won't touch the back of this, because sometimes my fingers, I move too fast and then I end up touching the back of my pieces, and I don't want no gold on there. And now by doing this, you could really kind of see what I put in for wood grain. And I still got a little tiny bit on my black. Now I'm going to have to fix that. Look how cool that looks. And I could design further into this, and I might. I haven't made a 100% decision, because the more I'm looking at it, I feel like I should just do some sort of vine or something. But I'm not sure. Okay, no, not that one. Let me get my... I just want to brush that off. Get that out of there. And that's what we got. That looks really neat. I like that a lot. So let's see what this will look like if I extend it. And if we don't like it, we could take it off. That's the nice thing about clay, is that you could really kind of just play around with it and see what you like. So we could kind of... I wonder, kind of thinking something here. Let me see. I am thinking, let me see. Since I'm going for the whole night sky, earth, and trees, and I think that's so beautiful. I'm wondering if I just added 2 little bats on the sides, how that would look. Just to give it a little extra. And I actually really like that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the 2 little bats. And I'm going to put a little bit of gold on them. Make them pop a little bit. Now I got to make sure that I have this leveled, because that'll drive me nuts if I don't. Oh, I used the wrong brush. Wrong brush. All right, so now I will stick this in my oven, 275 for a full half hour. And then we'll come back and we will put this all together and finish this piece up. My piece is out of the oven. It looks gorgeous. I am absolutely thrilled with this. Look at the back. How fun is that? So we have our spooky little trees here. And I love how this, it just reminds me so much of like the forest kind of thing. I really, really hope you guys like this as much as I do. I just think this is fantastic. The one thing that we need to do before we can put our chain on is I am going to put my gloss glaze on. So I am just going to pour this right over, get my brush, and just brush right over this. And this will protect all my mica powders to the side of my stone here. And remember, you could do this any color that you want. You don't have to go with the colors that I went with. I just was really trying to focus on matching my stone the best that I could. I just really thought that it would kind of highlight it. And I'm very happy with it. So, but if you have a different color stone, then just kind of blend your colors together. This is just basically to give you an idea of how to create your own piece. So feel free to change it any way that you like. Add to it, take away from it, however you want to do your piece. And now for the top, I'm going to get a smaller brush. I want to kind of avoid getting resin, or not resin. I want to try to avoid getting any of the glaze on my stone. I could clean it off, but if I can kind of avoid it, I'm going to, just to kind of give myself less cleanup. But I know I'll have to clean everything up when it's all said and done, but I try to give myself a little bit less work. And let me know if you guys are enjoying these videos with the October themes that I'm going with the whole spooky kind of tutorials I'm doing, and with the spider web necklace, and I also did the 2 sets of earrings so far, and now I'm doing this, and I'll be doing my wood set of earrings that'll be coming up before this is on. So let me know if you're enjoying them, and if you'd like to see more things like holiday theme type of stuff. I know winter is coming up, so I will be doing some winter theme stuff. I always enjoy the winter theme stuff. But this is the first year that I'm really focusing on doing the fall and October stuff. I don't want to say Halloween because I don't feel like they're Halloween things. I think they're more the month of October, so to speak, because you could wear this stuff year round. You don't have to wear it for Halloween. So I don't really like using the word Halloween because it's not Halloween. There you go. So I'm going to let this completely dry, and then I will do the back as well. And I'm not going to do the whole back. Like, I'm just going to do my bats, and I'm going to do my tree only, and then I'll leave the rest alone. And then we'll come back and we will drill our holes and attach our chain. My piece is completely dried. Look how beautiful that is. Now I did end up putting the Sculpey glaze all over the entire back because some of it was kind of dripping on there. So to make it all look good and even, I ended up glazing the whole thing. But I am super pleased with this. I think this is beautiful. The back is just gorgeous, and the front is gorgeous as well. I absolutely love this. I think this is so nice. Now I did end up taking a little bit of my Greedy Gold paint, and I went over the branches very lightly because I really wanted them to pop, and it was not popping with the gold that I used. So I ended up using a darker gold. So to finish this piece up, we are going to drill our holes, and I'm going to go right in the middle of this. So this way I know I'm going to be safe from my bats. Go right in the middle, and drill the hole. I'm going to do the same thing. Go right in the middle. Very simple. I also have my chain. So I don't know if you watched any of my other videos, but what I like to do is I like to wrap this around my neck and measure it that way of where my necklace is going to lay, because I don't like to measure them because sometimes they're longer or shorter than I actually want them to be. So that's what I will do. So you know, about right here is where I need to cut my chain. And then I will take it. I'll take a wire. And then I'm going to pull it so I know it's straight. I'll take another wire to find my middle section. Right there. Oops. And right there's my middle. Oh, and I lost it. I lost it. Let me do this again. All right, so take this and this, hold it straight. Right there. So that's the section that I need to cut right there. Okay. So I'll take my jump rings, I'll open. Put it on my necklace. Close. So I'm going to use a smaller one to attach my clasp. Put that on my loop here. My clasp on. Close. And then I always like to use a bigger jump ring for the closure. Makes it easier to find. And then do that. And that is it. And look how beautiful. So I really hope you guys enjoyed creating this piece with me. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe. It really does help. And I will see you all next time. Bye.